Very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to the weekend edition of Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing in the news tonight, I'm Joel Outscoot. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for this evening.
Successful talks between the President and the Japanese Prime Minister. Japan agrees to grant Sri Lanka over 51 billion rupees in aid. Colombo and suburbs battered by heavy rains. River waters on the rise. From the frying pan into the fire, mounting waste brings more difficulties to those affected by the floods. The Newsfirst Sewer Yatra aimed to assist those affected by floods takes place. Elections of the Galle Cricket Club on the streets.
News from the President's Diary this evening. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has offered a 51 billion rupees development loan to Sri Lanka as well as several other economic benefits. This was announced when he called on President Maithripala Sirisena today.
President Maithripala Sirisena was extended an official invitation from Japanese Prime Minister Abe to attend the G7 Outreach Summit in Japan. The official meeting between the President and the Japanese Prime Minister took place today. During the meeting, Japanese Prime Minister offered a Yen 38 billion ODA loan to Sri Lanka for water purification projects for kidney diseases and establishment of electricity transmission lines connecting the entire country. Efforts undertaken by Sri Lanka to bring about national reconciliation was commended by the Japanese Prime Minister. The Japanese Prime Minister had also expressed his pleasure on Sri Lanka's decision to adopt the Japanese system of digital terrestrial television broadcasting and agreed on the establishment of a bilateral joint committee to facilitate implementation of the project and holding the first meeting of the committee in June. Both leaders recognized the importance of port development in Sri Lanka, and President Sirisena expressed his appreciation for Japanese assistance provided thus far in this respect.
I think it is significant visit to Japan for the G7. It was a simple case of a priority being given to our President to integrate with the 8 leaders that were there. We were able to meet the Prime Minister of Japan, and I think it was an outstanding success. Today, we got a loan in order to ensure for structural development or for infrastructure development. So these are not just 5-year, 6-year commercial loans. These are 40 years with a 0.01 to 0.05% interest rate. So we appreciate the Japanese government for the confidence reposed in our President Maithripala Sirisena and our Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in order to get the country moving.
This is not only a victory for the government, but it is a victory for the whole of Sri Lanka. Because this is a message to the world that Sri Lanka is moving on a new path.
President
Maithripala Sirisena met with Sri Lankans living in Japan in Nagoya last evening.
National unity cannot be strengthened with cement, bricks, iron and sand. As a new government, we come under various accusations leveled by political opponents when undertaking our programs. They say that we are trying to divide the country, separate the country, and that national security has been undermined. They say that we are trying to weaken the military and move the military camps. Such false propaganda is being spread. I must make this clear. Together with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, the United National Party, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and other affiliated with the government, we are engaged in clean and untainted politics. The objective is to prevent the recurrence of another conflict. We have been accepted by the United Nations, the Commonwealth, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, not because of personal affections, but because of the programs and policies that we follow. We will never work to undermine national security.
Representatives of Japanese mega corporations met President Maithripala Sirisena last evening in Nagoya. The Taisei Corporation expressed interest in investing in various sectors including highway construction, expansion of Bandaranaike International Airport and building of monorail with speed up to 500 km per hour. The Hitachi Corporation and many other corporations in Japan have also expressed interest to invest in Sri Lanka.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commenced an official visit to South Korea this evening.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe left for South Korea to participate in the annual convention of the Rotary Foundation. The 107th Rotary International Convention will be held from May 29th till June 1st in Seoul. Apart from the leaders of several countries, more than 50,000 members from over 160 countries are scheduled to attend the convention, where Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is expected to make a statement. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe reached the Incheon International Airport in South Korea this evening and was welcomed by the South Korean Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Choi Jong-moon.
Welcome back, and on to a developing story this evening. Floodwaters have begun to recede gradually. However, another issue has arisen. Mountain waste in the flood-affected areas have brought severe discomfort to many locals. There is no way for the children to go to school. The drains are filled with worms and leeches. If the children fall sick, we will have additional expenses because we need to pay for medication. Waste collected from the houses are not on the streets. There is no one to take them away. Once again this morning, the streets were inundated by 2 feet. The waste washed back into the houses. The streets of Kolonava, Vallampitiya, Kotikavatta, Angoda, IDH and Brandiyavatta are littered with the mounds of waste. However, the waste does not include what is normally disposed from houses. The floods of over 7 feet did not leave many things in a lot of houses. The waste does not only include electrical equipment, furniture and luxury goods, but three-wheelers as well. They say that they will rectify this if we pay 40,000 rupees. We have been told to make our request to the chairman of the Pradesh Sabha. There is a sense of fear among the people as mounds of waste can return to their houses following the slightest rainfall. The people who were on the banks of the Kalni River waiting for vehicles in the past during the recent floods were anticipating the arrival of boats. The floodwaters are receding. However, there is a new issue for these people. Now they are anticipating tractors, but there seems to be none. There are mounds of waste everywhere. The water is up to the knee level. The issue they face now is how are they going to move away this waste. Just because the waters have receded, the people can't enter the house. There is a bad odor. The waste needs to be moved to a separate location. The drains will be cleared only if the waste is taken away. This situation has delayed the process of waters receding. As the southwest monsoon is active, intermittent showers are experienced. The area was inundated by 2 feet following last night's rainfall. The only thing the people request is for the garbage and waste to be removed so that it gives way for the waters to recede. When people fall victim to disasters, 2 things comes to mind. One is the protection of life and the protection by Sirasa. Newsfirst is not an organization that simply distributes a bag of goods and appears for the people once or twice. We are the network that rises with the people. The issues faced by the people today is the removal of waste garbage. We assure you that MTV-MBC will intervene to resolve this. We are prepared to join in the task of removing this waste. A media institution has never come and carried out an operation like this before. This carries a message to the people and it is a relief to the people. Newsfirst prepared to make these areas garbage free and bring relief to these people. Minister Faisal Mustafa said that a solution will be provided to this issue. The MTV-MBC network informed me about the garbage issue that is existing in Kolonava and Kotikavatta. There is interest to commence a clean-up project together with the ministry. There are 600 tractor loads of waste that needs to be cleared from Kolonava. There is 75 tipper loads of waste in Kotikavatta that needs to be cleared. We will implement a program to bring tractors of the 3 armed forces as well as the local government bodies that were not affected by the floods. We request the private sector who own tractors to come forward at this time of need and join us in this operation to provide relief to the people. Newsfirst, who is always there to provide relief when people are affected by natural disasters, launched the Sirasa Shakti John Kill Suwa Yatra today, taking into consideration the health concerns of those who were affected. The Suwa Yatra was launched at the environs of the Kalaniya Raj Mahavihara.
The Suyatra, which was launched with the motive of restoring the health of those who lost both wealth and health during the recent overflowing of the Kalani River, commenced under the blessings of the chief incumbent of the Kalani Raja Mahaviharya, Venerable Dr. Kolupitiya Mahinda Sangharakhiratero.
All those who receive these medications will feel better and healthy. I wish to invoke blessings on the MTV MBC networks and everyone involved and all those who have joined in the benevolent deed.
We have been an integral part of Sri Lankan lives for many years. On behalf of the Chairman and the Joint Managing Director, Mr. Rajamahendran, and the Capital Maharaja Organisation, I would like to reiterate our unwavering commitment to lead initiatives to uplift and assist fellow Sri Lankans in times of need on humanitarian efforts such as this. With this medical health camp today, we are attempting to assist some of the affected people and to bring them much needed relief as a secondary stage. The purpose of life is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, and to make a positive difference in society so that we have lived and lived well. We are humbled to be in a leadership position on such initiatives as the People's Network.
At a time when the weather is changing, the MTV MBC network has understood this situation and invited us also to join in this task. John Kales is an institution that not only focuses on the economic status of the people but also their social and cultural status. Our objective is to bring a better tomorrow for the people. We undertook the Sahana Yatra program recently and we were able to do it in a span of 24 hours because of the strength of Team News First. We have the leadership to act strong and fast during any disaster situation. The people must be informed to make use of this. That comes with a good media. I have worked with the Sirasa media over a long period of time. This is my 549th medical camp. I ask the gods to bless me with the strength to continue with this.
Flood-affected people from Colombo and Gampaha districts arrived in their numbers since this morning to obtain services from the medical teams. The medical teams, comprising of pharmacists, physiotherapists, medical technicians and ECG technicians, rendered their services throughout the day to these people who were in need of healthcare.
It is very good. They gave a good checkup. There were thousands of people who came here. We are very happy and thankful to Sirasa for organizing this.
I came from Kalutara. We are grateful for this service that you render at a time when we have no money to take medicine.
They saved those who were in trouble. We are thankful to medicine that you give.
Meanwhile, our teams took measures to distribute dry rations to flood-affected people. Chatrika Sirisena, the daughter of President Maithripala Sirisena, was also present. Many private and government organizations, including John Kales Holdings, Government Medical Officers Association, AVIS Organization, Department of Registrar General, joined hands with News First in this endeavor.
The impact caused by flash floods on the lives of the innocent cannot be detailed in a mere sentence. Sweta was a girl that News First came across during the News First Suyatra program today. Her story brings a whole new aspect to the words flood-affected persons.
Sweta, together with her mother, were living in a temporary house in Kolonava. However, waters gushing from the swollen Kalani River took everything away from them. Sweta, who is still in preschool age, visited the Suyatra program today seeking assistance in the only wealth they possess, their health.
ළමයටත් මං කියලා ඉන්නේ එයා රට ගිහිල්ලා අපිට ගයක් නැති නිසා ගයක් අදලා දෙන්න ඉන්නවයි කියලා මට පුළුවන් තරම් ඇකි සහනයක් ලබා දෙන්න මගේ අසරණකම් බලලා මායාමි මාත් එක්ක එනවාද අපි ඉන්න ආමඳුරුවන්ගේ පන්සල ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න.
Accepting this invitation, News First visited the temple in Meethotamulla. Sweta is raised by a single mother. Her father was killed in a motor accident 3 months ago. Since then, Sweta's mother has found it difficult to earn an income.
කුමුදුනීට වැස්සට බයවත් ගම් වතුරට බයවත් ඉන්න බෑ. හේතුව මේ පුංචි දු ශ්වේතා. ශ්වේතා උංගලික ඉන්නම් කාචලා. තාම උන්නද? උංගලික මොන්ටිසෝරි පොහාසයා. ඔයා මොන්ටිසෝරි යන්න ආසද? උණ බැස්සහම මොන්ටිසෝරි යනවද?
මම කැමැත්තෙන් ගිය නිසා මට කවුරුත් බලන්න කෙනෙකුත් නැහැ. මට ඕනේ මේ ළමයාව හොඳට උගන්වලා මෙයාව හොඳට බලා ගන්නයි.
ගම් වතුරට සේදුණු ජීවිත අතර
There are many such persons whose dreams were completely dashed away by the floods. We cannot look away. We need to be a strength to them and for their future.
වෙමු. ඔවුන්ට උදව් කරමු. මේ පුංචි ශ්වේතලගේ අනාගතය වෙනුවෙන්.
Our news.
Heavy rains during the past 24 hours inundated many areas in Colombo and its suburbs.
This is the manner in which the road from Reed Avenue, Colombo 7 to Tungmulla was inundated this morning. Motor traffic was disrupted in Colombo since a number of roads surrounding the Colombo University complex were inundated. A number of roads around the National Hospital too were inundated. This area gets inundated every day and it's always like this. The problem is that there is no drainage system. This area floods for about 3 to 4 feet even for the slightest rain. A freight truck parked on the side of a canal that runs from Delkanda to Rattanapitiya fell into the canal last night after the road caved in.
A minor flood situation reported in areas adjacent to major rivers following the heavy downpour. Colombo recorded the highest rainfall during the 24-hour period, which ended at 8:30 this morning with 112.6 millimeters.
The water level of the Kalni River increased slightly this morning following the heavy rains experienced in the Hangwalla and Gampaha areas last night. The water level of the Kalni River and the Nagalam Street water gauge this morning stood at 4 feet. Minor flooding were reported in a number of areas in Malwana owing to the increase in water levels of the Kalani River. According to our correspondents, the flooding took place in Malwana, Kalukodeava, Kanukatiava and Lenagampala areas. As a result of the flooding, residents of the Kanukatiava area took measures to remove their belongings from their homes. The Dompe Malwana main road and several byroads too were inundated. The water level of the Attanagaluoya too is increased following the heavy rains. Meanwhile, the rainfall recorded in the city of Gaul is 63.9 millimeters. Our correspondent stated that as of this morning, the water gauge of the Ging River was at 3.6 feet. They further stated that flooding will take place if the water level increased to 4.5 feet. With the rise in water levels of the Ging River, the Baddegama-Udugama road was inundated. Our correspondent said that many low-lying areas on the banks of the Ging River are flooded. They added that a number of areas including Bakpalla, Hiniduma, Mahabodhivatta, Nagoda and Gurupanava were underwater. Meanwhile, with the Morogadala in Gaul reaching spill level, the Dangedar area on the Gaul-Baddegama road was underwater. Our correspondent said that a number of byroads in the area too were underwater. The incessant rains also caused the water levels of the Nilvala river to rise. Our correspondent said the water level of the Nilvala river at the Panadugama water gate stood at 6 feet today. As a result, while the Akurasa-Siambalagoda main road was inundated, the Disaster Management Centre warns people living on the banks of the Nilwala River to be cautious of the rising water levels. Meanwhile, the water levels of the Kaluganga has increased up to 1.3 feet. The Disaster Management Centre says that if the water level increases to 3 feet, flooding could take place in the surrounding areas. Our correspondent stated that with the increase in water levels of the Kaluganga, a number of low-lying areas were underwater. The Bulat Sinhala Molkava Road in the Dambala area too became inundated as a result of water levels of the Kukuleganga rising. Water levels of the Devon Falls in Hatton increased following the rains experienced in the Nuwara Eliya district. Water levels of the Castlereagh Reservoir also increased following the rising water levels of the Kesalgamu Oya in Dikkoya. Our correspondent reported that the water levels rose for the first time in 1.5 years. Water levels of the St. Clair's Falls also increased.
Minister Sajid Premadasa made an announcement with regard to those affected by the landslide in Arunachal. The Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premadasa, inspected the areas that were affected by the landslide in the Samasara mountain in Arunachal. The Minister also inspected into the well-being of the people who are located in safety camps in the area. A special meeting headed by the Minister was held at the Arunachal Divisional Secretariat to discuss the provisions of relief to those affected in the area. We will not limit ourselves to circulars. We will go surpassing the circulars and we hope to provide relief to those who are affected. I will appoint a separate group to completely resolve the housing issue in the Arunachal electorate. We will start acting tomorrow itself and we will solve this issue and provide relief to the affected people.
නිවාස ප්‍රශ්නෙන් පීඩා විඳින අපේ ආදරණීය ජනතාවට ඒ නිවාස ශක්තිය ලබා දෙන්නට අපි කටයුතු කරනවා.
Like the citizens show an interest on the development of the country, many factions including those from the government and the opposition are also interested in the development. Recently, it was reported that a special agency will be established with regard to development. It was also reported that Mangalayapa was to be appointed as the managing director of this agency. News1st contacted Mangalayapa today to inquire into the truth into this matter.
Hello.
Hello, සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක්.
Good evening, Mr. Mangalayapa.
බුදුමාට ගත්තේ අර අපිට දැනගන්න ලැබුණා.
Have you been appointed to a committee with regard to national development?
කමිටි එකකට appoint කරලා තියනවද?
No, it is not a committee. What is the reason for this question?
හේතුව කියන්නේ මේ
It was reported that you are the managing director of the agency with regard to development.
තුමා කියලා මේ සංවර්ධනය සඳහා වූ
agency.
There is only a proposal that was made to establish such an agency. It has not been established.
හදලා නැහැ. එම ඒජන්සියක් තාම ස්ථාපිත කරලා නැහැ නේද?
Mr. Mangalayapa, what tasks would that institute perform?
I cannot say that until it is established.
තාම ඒකට
An act needs to be created and it is in the process.
ඒකට තාම කාර්ය
And the operations?
මේක සම්බන්ධ සැලසුමක් නැහැ.
It has been discussed but will be decided only after it is passed.
මංගලයාප මත මේක එතකොට
Does this fall under a ministry?
මාත්‍යංශයක් යටතට වැටෙනවද කොහොමද?
Let's speak of that later.
හරි ෂුවර් මංගලයාප මත මේක කොයි කාලෙ විතරද?
When will it be established?
It may take some months. The act needs to come from the government. There are discussions. I cannot say how long it will take.
අමාරුයි නේද? හරි මංගලයාප මත බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඔබතුමා සම්බන්ධ වුණාට.
The Defence Ministry had extended the amnesty period to return illegal weapons considering public requests.
The amnesty period will be effective from May 30th to June 17th. The Ministry of Defence announced that illegal weapons can be handed over to the nearest divisional secretariat, district secretariats and police stations. A communique notes that persons returning weapons during this amnesty period will not be subject to any legal action or penalty for possessing a firearm. A similar amnesty period had been declared from 25th April to 5th May, where 423 weapons were returned. During that amnesty period, the majority of weapons were returned from the Kampala district.
We're now joined by senior journalist Faraz Shakut Ali on Frontline. Well, for us, I would like to ask you today, during the recent days, it was a notable feature to see various persons from the previous regime who were sentenced to various fraud and malpractices receiving various positions of ministries. What is your take on this?
Well, actually, there have been various persons who have been accused of malpractices and have been subject to investigation by the various agencies like the FCID and the CID and so on. It's astonishing that these people, one of them is Mr. Ranawaka and the other is Mr. Palpita, who's been appointed as additional secretaries at some ministry or other. But this is astonishing because it goes against the grain and the spirit of Article 27/10 of the Establishment Code, which states clearly that if you are under such investigation, the normal form is to have those people interdicted or kept on a side, sent on leave, until the matter is fully investigated.
For us, you mentioned about an article. What would happen if this article is not followed?
Well, when it's not followed, that is exactly what's happened. You get people who are being investigated, being given another position within.
Isn't it against
the
Constitution for us?
Well, it's against the Establishment Code, and therefore it will be also against the Constitution. But it doesn't augur well for good governance, that because it questions as to what happens to the state agencies actually doing the investigating.
Would the hopes of the people fade? Now also there are several investigations being launched on these people. What would happen to these investigations?
Well,
and people are also waiting for answers, action to be taken.
Precisely, and that's the whole problem, Joel. The investigators will be on the back foot now. As it is, there are many delays and so on that are frustrating the investigations, and this doesn't help. It doesn't help for good governance at all.
Well, thank you very much for us for joining on the front line. In more local news, Sparkle 2016, the annual walk and fun fair of Methodist College, Colombo, was held today. The speciality of this year's walk was that it was in line with the school's 150th anniversary. Hundreds of present and past pupils, teachers and parents and well-wishers participated in the walk, braving the cold and the rain. The brass band of the school added color to the event. And on sports news, the election of office bearers of the Galle District Cricket Association was held at the entrance to the Galle International Cricket, and permission was denied to host the election.
The election was held to elect office bearers for the years 2016 and 2017 of the Galle District Cricket Association. There are 12 registered clubs in the Galle District, while 7 clubs took part in the elections. H. Premasiri was re-elected president of the Galle District Cricket Association, uncontested. Manohara Jayawardena was elected secretary, while Aruna Jayasekara was elected treasurer.
That's a wrap up the news for this evening. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Joel Outsgoon. Have yourself a great evening ahead.